Hello PewTubers, it's been a while. I wanted to check in and share some stuff while I had a chance here. I am well aware that the videos that get the most hits are by far, by a triple-digit order of magnitude, the things where I review products. I think that's what a lot of folks come looking to YouTube for. I certainly do the same thing when I'm curious about something. So I will get back to sharing some more of those. Hopefully later this summer I'll have some time to share some of the stuff that I've done. Some things that I have coming up, possibly some new blank guns to share, definitely some gas blowback airsoft. I also want to share something about how I modify airsoft guns for film and television use. What are the things that I do through my company, Fight Designer LLC, when I'm going to get something ready so that it'll hold up a little bit better in a film close-up or something like that. Oh, my camera keeps doing weird exposure stuff, huh? Sorry, not sure why it's doing that. But today, just a quick mention about 3D printing, which is actually a bit of a jump over from something on my other channel, Fight Designer LLC, the Fight Designer YouTube channel, where I'm also talking about other projects I've been doing this summer around motion capture, as well as 3D printing of props, and probably some more on painting props in the near future. And also just about instruction, because guess what? I'm vaccinated. Woohoo! And a lot of you out there are vaccinated too, which is great because that means that now we can actually get together in person and train. And that's so nice. It's been a while, folks. So, you know, theaters and film productions are all still figuring out how to get back into the swing of things. It takes a little time to build up that momentum. Some of them are coming back. But, you know, about a month ago now, I guess, was the first time when I was able to actually get together with a group of vaccinated folks and have a workshop. So this was a group in Michigan that brought me in to do the second half of the Theatrical Firearms Workshop the SAFD offers, which is normally like a 2-day intensive. And there were some of them who had not done the online part with somebody else and some of them who had. So I did basically an online class with about half the group before I came up, and then I was able to just come up for a day, and we did the practical part of the exam where they could practice handling different types of blank firing props and load them and unload them and practice handoffs and look at staging and things like that. And then also just, you know, stage a scenario. So there's multiple parts to the practical exam for that. But they all passed. That was fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to that video. We did 2 scenes with that group. It was 8 people. We did 2 scenes. Each one had 4 people in it so that everybody could practice being both a wrangler, a gun wrangler, and a performer. So behind the camera and in front of the camera. One of the groups had some folks who decided they didn't want their video shared, which is fine. I thought it was kind of fun. It was a silly scene about people being stupid in a gun store and being unsafe. So we had some swap-offs there between rubber and blank firing and stuff like that. Everybody was supposed to be able to fire blanks in this. I think we never got a great take. We did a couple tries at it. There was I think it was the Eccles blank firing Browning high power, the Voltran Browning high power, that consistently failed to fire when one of our actresses was using it, but I could never figure out why, and then I'd test fire it and it would work, so I'm still not entirely sure why it was doing that. We didn't have a whole ton of time to diagnose that. So unfortunately, there are a couple shots that were meant to happen in staging that didn't happen in any of the actual takes on camera of this scene. But let's jump to the scene just because it's a little silly fun, and it's been ages since we got to get together and do stuff like this. So, take it away.
All right, yeah, just take it easy, all right? Take a seat. This asshole said to pick the hottest day of the year to do this.
How long is it until they get here?
I don't know. You know how they're always late.
Well, what are we gonna do till then? Just sit here, lazy in the sun? You missed.
You don't even know how to shoot at.
There's just the one rock over there.
You think you can do better?
Well, actually, yeah. I'm
Oh,
sure.
really? Oh, really? You think you can do better?
Yeah, we did that.
All right, Andy Oakley, step up. Show us what you got.
Oh, come on, it's the handcuffs.
Oh, it's always the handcuffs.
What's in this thing? Lights?
Oh, yeah, come on, get that.
What? Show me!
All right, here, get up.
We could have driven?
And a walker side I joined the Texas Rangers. Go. No, stop. I say go. Whoa. No. Hey! Whoa, up.
Wait. You doing the bounty on?
Yeah, you get a whole lot of paper towels for that.
Thanks.
Hey man, look. Whatever they're paying you, I'll pay double. Alright, just take it easy, man. Alright. Whoa, nice and slow. Alright, but just take it easy. Look, hey man, you're looking for a crew, and do some extra people.
All right, so again, these are just exercises. These are, choreographed in a half hour or something like that, and devised scenes and whatever, just as an exercise in how do we figure out if this is the story we're trying to tell. What are our event lanes? How are we doing handoffs? How are we doing prop swaps between some action with the rubber gun there that then they go back and grab the blank firing one that would be hidden behind a bit of scenery to do some shots and things like that. How many rounds do we want to load? How are we going to do this? Are we going to have a spent round behind that so the slide doesn't lock back? What kind of load are we using? All these questions that come up when using blanks in a live theatrical production. It's really just a chance to practice those. So I think everybody had fun. Everybody was safe. Nobody got hurt. Everybody passed the test. So yay, success. And we can do these things again. So I really want to get some more chances to get out there and do this and sort of spread the gospel of blank gun safety. I'm hoping to do one of these in Cleveland at some point in here. I'm still not sure exactly where or when. Playhouse Square doesn't like blanks, so it won't be with CPH. We'll have a new building with my BA program, and so it's possible at some point in here we might be able to do it at Case Western campus. That would be exciting, but we'll see. Who knows? But if you're interested, there's a little cachet that I've been able to get from being the author of the Theatrical Firearms Handbook. If you have a group that is interested, I am happy to come in. Because of my connection with Fight Designer LLC, I have plenty of gear. I've got all the blank guns you need. I've got all the blanks. I've got the dummy guns and other versions, and I'm happy to come in and offer that for you. I'm one of, last checked, something in the low 30s in terms of number of certified theatrical firearms instructors with the SAFD who can offer that test. And that certification is good for 5 years. In addition to the Michigan workshop with Theatrica Gladiatoria and Joe Wright and the other folks there that helped bring me up, I've also got stuff going on this summer. I'm working with a filmmaking camp here in Cleveland, theater camp, just, things like that. The usual little summer side jobs. But let me just say, it's so nice to be able to actually get together in person, masked or unmasked, depending on people's vaccination status, and work on some of this stuff. So if you're out there, if you're still hiding, get your darn shot and get out and play. But a couple other quick shout outs. If you want to go over to the Fight Designer LLC channel, I talked a little bit about my experiments in 3D printing. Some of those were not gun stuff, but some of them were. So here's the sort of fake EOTech that I was able to print out. And I talk about that in the video, which I'll link to after this. It wasn't perfect. I did have to do some repairs and some sort of, fudging it to fix things up in post, as it were. But this can attach to the rail of any of my rubber guns and give me an option for those, which is nice. And we'll see how durable it is. I haven't used it on a gig yet. And then my other experiment, if you look at the Fight Designer channel, this wasn't painted yet. So you saw the raw print over there. But now you can see it's, I didn't do a ton of sanding and finishing, so it's still got a little of those kind of, that little gap there. I'm not sure what that's from. And you can still kind of see the layers. But for most shots, and it doesn't have a dimple or a primer or anything like that, because this was on the print bed this way. So if we compare this to a real dummy round, you can see that there's really no comparison in terms of how it's going to look in close-up when you've got the real metal that's nice and reflective, catches the light, and it's hard to focus on, right? And nice crisp detail. Even with a half-decent paint job and not the best finishing job, yeah, this is not going to hold up for your close-up. But, you know, if you don't have other dummy rounds, from any kind of distance, this is still going to look fine. And you could still snap this into a magazine. You could have a pile of them in a box of ammo, and you know there's no reason to have live ammo as set dressing. So if you don't want to buy a whole ton of dummy rounds, conceivably, you know, this was like what, a half-hour print, and maybe a total of a half hour in painting and stuff. You know, you could have a few of these, and if you follow the chain of events that led up to, for example, the killing of Brandon Lee on the Crow, and I outlined this in the Theatrical Firearms Handbook. That whole chain of screw-ups that led to that tragic death started with someone bringing a box of live ammo and having it as set dressing for the pawn shop scene. So, backing that up, and you know, I know they couldn't 3D print back then anyway, but if somebody had had dummy rounds as set dressing, that would have prevented that next series of 4 or 5 or 6 different screw-ups that ultimately ended up in somebody being shot with a .44 Magnum and dying. So, you know, I'm a huge fan of just using inert stuff when you can. Always use the safest thing that'll get the job done. And nobody was zooming in on that box of ammo and the shelf in the pawn shop. It did not need to hold up to a close-up. So for something like that, you know, printing out some of these is fine. Or, you know, even just print out the bullet part and stick it in a spent casing. If you just don't want to buy extra bullets, you don't want to deal with the lead or the hassle or the expense of buying bullets, because ammunition's been expensive. That includes ammunition components lately. There's no need to use live ammo though. So if you don't want to buy professionally made dummy rounds, sure, yeah, 3D printed could be an option. And for accessories, like the dummy EOTechs or things like that, it saves some money. Why not? In the months to come, hopefully I'll get another video or two out. But as always, if there's something particular you're curious about, you can look at fightdesigner.com and scroll down, see any of the models I've got there. Or if you're just generally curious about, like, hey, tell me about different versions of Glocks, or you know, custom guns, or, you know, I've talked about propane versus CO2 or other things in previous videos. But yeah, if there's anything you're curious about, stick it in the comments down below, shoot me an email. I'm not that hard to find. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, whatever you can, because again, the more we can do to get the word out about firearm safety, the better our industry will be, the better our performances will be, and the safer everyone's going to be. So, till next time, stay safe, look good, have fun. And I'm Kevin Inoue with Fight Designer LLC, Case Western Reserve University, and Focal Press, where you'll find the Theatrical Firearms Handbook and the Screen Combat Handbook.